Okay, I am going to share with you some of the mathematics that is related to this chapter, chapter 44. In the name of God, the all-gracious, the all-merciful. Chapter 44 is called the smoke, and it is a Hamim initial chapter. There are 150 memes and 16 ha's. As you can see, I put the initial meme first, and second, I put initial ha. There's a reason for it. In Arabic, you write from right to left. Therefore, ha is first here, and meme is second. And by doing so, somewhere in the middle of the page, the numbers fall in the correct order, and they will complement each other, as you will see. So far, we have three sets of numbers, 44, 150, and 16. Next, we are going to add the total number of ha's to the total number of memes, and as a result, we get 166. Now, we have four sets of numbers, 44, 150, 16, and 166. These four numbers are all composites. Next, we are going to find the index to these four numbers. Index of composite 44 is 29. Index of composite 150 is 114. Index of composite 16 is 9. And index of composite 166 is 127. As you can see, from the first four sets of numbers that we started with, 44, 150, 16, and 166, these four numbers generated four other numbers, 29, 114, 9, and 127. These four numbers are making a very powerful statement here. These numbers, 29, 114, 9, and 127 in chapter 44 are telling us mathematically that the Quran has 29 initial chapters, total of 114 chapters, and chapter 9 has 127 verses. As you can see, the reason for initial meme being first and then initial age on top of the page is it would put these numbers in the correct sequence. You know, it gave us 29, 114, 9, and 127. 29 initial, 114 chapters, and 9 having 127 verses. Very simple mathematics to follow, and what a powerful statement at the end of it. This information is in chapter 4.9, page 49 of Ultimate Mathematics book by Dr. Fazali. This book is available on his website and is also available on the internet for free to download. Let's take a look at another number here, 166, which is the total number of initials ha and meme. 166 is the index of prime 983. And 983 is 114 Chen prime. Once again, 114, which is the total number of chapters in the Quran. God telling us here in chapter 44, mathematically, that there are 29 initial chapters, 114 total chapters, chapter 9 having 127 verses. Easy math to follow. Let's take a look at another number. Let's take a look at the total number of memes, which is 150. 150th composite is 195. And 195 is the numerical value of the 5 initials in chapter 19. That means if we add the numerical value of each of those initials together, we get 195. So far, God told us mathematically that the Quran has 29 initial chapters, 114 total chapters, chapter 9 having 127 verses, and the total numerical value of the 5 initials in chapter 19. One more thing about 150. 150 is the 19th quad prime. And that by itself is going to be opening many doors to this type of a proof, mathematical proof. Very easy math to follow. So far, God told us mathematically all this information by chapter 44 and the total number of initials in this chapter. Let's take a look at this chapter from a different angle. Let's take a look at the chapter number, which is 44, and the total number of verses in this chapter, which is 59. So, as you can see, we have two sets of numbers here, 44 and 59. If we concatenate these two numbers, 44 and 59, we get 4,459. And 4,459 is the index of composite 5145. The prime factors of 5145 are 3, 7, 7, 5, and 7. That means if we multiply these 5 prime numbers together, 3 times 7 times 7 times 5 times 7, we get 5145. Those 5 prime numbers are the prime factors of 5145. And the indices of these primes, 3, 7, 7, 5, and 7, are 2, 4, 4, 3, and 4. And we know that 2, 4, 4, 3, and 4 are the units of daily prayers. 5 of them. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 6. 5 daily prayers. God told us mathematically in chapter 44 that there are 5 daily prayers. This should be sufficient for us. But wait, there's more. Why writing these 5 numbers, 2, 4, 4, 3, 4 in this sequence? Why in this specific sequence? And why not 3, 2, 4, 4, 4, or any other combination of these 5 numbers? Well, here's the answer. Permutation rule allows us to write them in 20 different ways. Because one of the numbers, number 4, is repeated 3 times. 2, 4, 4, 3, 4 is the only permutation that is divisible by 19. That means 19 times a number will give us 2, 4, 4, 3, 4. And that a number that we're talking about is 1286. And the sum of the digits of 1286 adds up to 17. That means 1 plus 2 plus 8 plus 6 equal to 17. And wouldn't you know it, 17 is the number of units in daily prayers. So far, God told us mathematically in chapter 44 that there are 5 daily prayers and 17 units in those 5 daily prayers. This should be sufficient for us. One more thing before we move on. The prime factors of 5145, the 3, 7, 7, 5, and 7, they are in that specific sequence for a reason. God willing, we will get to that maybe in another presentation. But we're going to move on with what we started. Next, 2, 4, 4, 3, 4. If we multiply those 5 numbers, 2 times 4 times 4 times 3 times 4, we get 384. And 384 in base 10 equal to 114 in base 19. Once again, 114. 114, remember, is the total number of chapters in the Quran. God telling us in chapter 44 that there are 5 daily prayers, 17 units in those 5 daily prayers, and Quran has 114 chapters. Easy math to follow. Powerful statements at every turn, every corner here. There is more. 384. 384 composite is 476. 476 prime is 3373. And that means chapter 33 has 73 verses. God told us so far, mathematically, in chapter 44, 5 daily prayers, 17 units in those 5 daily prayers, total number of chapters in the Quran, and the total number of verses in chapter 33. Now, let's take a look at the index of composite 1286. Remember 1286, it was that number that you multiply by 19 to get the 24434, the units of the daily prayers. That number, 1286, is a composite. And the index of that composite is 1077. That means chapter 107 has 7 verses. So far, God told us mathematically in chapter 44, there are 5 daily prayers, 17 units in those 5 daily prayers, 114 chapters in the Quran, chapter 33 having 73 verses, chapter 107 having 7 verses. Beautiful. Let's take a look at another number. 5145, the number on top of the page. 5145th verse. From the beginning of the Quran is 59:21. Chapter 59, verse 21. Let's see what God said in this verse. Had we revealed this Quran to a mountain, you would have seen it humbling itself, crumbling out of reverence for God. And these are examples that we cite for the people that they may think. So as you can see, if this book was revealed to a mountain, the mountain would humble itself. The mountain will crumble out of reverence for God. But this Quran, this book, is revealed to us. Not only we are not humbling ourselves or crumbling out of reverence for God, we are questioning the wisdom that is in this book. God said that these are examples that we cite for the people. These mathematics are examples. So when God is mathematically telling us that there are 5 daily prayers, that there are 17 units in those 5 daily prayers, we shouldn't question it. We should humble ourselves and accept this fact. Let's take a look at number 5921. 5921 equal to 31 times 191. As you can see, 5921 generated 2 other numbers, 31 and 191. And 31 is the 11th prime, and 191 is 43rd prime. Those 2 numbers, the 31 and 191, generated 2 other numbers, 11 and 43. And we know that 1143 is equal to 9 times 1 to 7, meaning chapter 9 has 127 verses and not 129. So far, God told us mathematically in chapter 44 that there are 5 daily prayers, 17 units in those 5 daily prayers, 114 chapters in the Quran, chapter 33 having 73 verses, chapter 107 having 7 verses, and chapter 9 having 127 verses. So far, easy math to follow. Let's take a look at one more here. 1143. 1143, chapter 11, verse 43 is 1,514 verse from the beginning of the Quran. 1514 is a composite, and index of composite 1514 is 1273. And we should know by now that 1273 is the frequency of the word God from 1-1 to 9-1 to 7. As you can see, God mathematically told us in chapter 44, the smoke that has 59 verses, that there are 5 daily prayers, 17 units in those 5 daily prayers, the total number of chapters in the Quran, the total number of verses in chapter 33, the total number of verses in chapter 107, the total number of verses in chapter 9, and the total frequency of the word God from 1-1 to 9-1 to 7. Amazing, beautiful, and powerful. Very simple mathematics to follow. Remember, God told us that this is to increase the faith of the faithful. So, if at any time we feel like that our faith is not as strong as when we started this, and or we have fallen down and we're having a hard time getting back up, God has given us this tool to help us get back up on our feet and to increase our faith. This is the tool that God gave us. All we have to do is to embrace it, learn, and study it. It's very easy, real easy to follow. All of this information I got from JOS, Journal of Submission, and most of it during our Quran study and Friday prayers by Dr. Fazili. I hope that this presentation you enjoyed. God bless. Peace.